Get this chocolate from your forehead into your mouth without using your hands. Fastest time wins. Loser gets pied. Your time starts now. Here we go. Chocolate on the head. Right, here we go. I'm good at this. Oh yeah. Watch and learn. Yeah, that was so good. So quick. Beat that. What? That was incredible. Oh, but not enough to beat me. My time starts now. Here we go. Oh, I've dropped it. Hang on. You pick it up again. Start again. Never mind. Dropped it again. All right, never mind. Steady head, Alan. Steady head. Here we go. Oh, it's on the cheek. No! Dropped it. Oh, it's broken a bit. Never mind. Oh, gosh, it's got to get a little bit creamy. It's getting stuck to my face a bit. Hang on. Let me get it on there. Oh, it's stuck to my fingers. Oh, that's yummy. Oh, do you know what? I don't know why I'm so good at that, but you were rubbish, Alan. That was terrible. Oh, man, I can't believe it. Please don't pie me now. All right. We'll do it at the end. Give you a chance to get ready. What I want to know, though, is what does having an after eight on my head and getting it into my mouth have anything to do with Moses? Well, it all makes perfect sense. When they were in the wilderness, God provided for the Israelites by raining down food from heaven. So you're saying that having an after eight fall from my head into my mouth is the same as that? Well, close enough. Let's see what actually happened in the Bible passage by looking at my silly summary. I'll include last week's passage as well as this week's. Moses went back to Egypt and asked the king to let the Israelites go. Pretty please? No! Make their lives worse. Work them harder. Moses went back to God. He said no. I'll show him. God sent 10 plagues of really gross stuff. Frogs! Flies everywhere. Who turned out the lights? The final plague was the worst of all. Every family's oldest son would die at midnight. No, but God gave an instruction so that they could save the Israelite children. Take a lamb and use it as a sacrifice. What? It will die instead of your child. Put some of its blood around your door and then you will be saved. During that horrible night, the king sent for Moses. Leave Egypt now! So the Israelites packed their bags and left. God led the way out of Egypt in the form of a pillar of cloud and a pillar of fire. When they were already on their way, Pharaoh changed his mind. He didn't want to lose any of the slaves, so he sent an army after them. The Israelites began to panic, but there was no need for that. The Lord rescued them by parting the Red Sea and making a path for them to walk straight through. Lovely and dry in here. However, when the Egyptians tried to cross the water, they didn't make it. The Israelites had made it out of Egypt. They were no longer slaves. They must be delighted. Oh, it's boring out here. I'm hungry. I'd rather be a slave back in Egypt right now. Now, of course, God wasn't going to let them starve to death. Instead, he made it rain bread. But get off me. You should be saying thank you. What's your manners? Manna, not manners. Get it? Every day they would gather up the manna God sent from heaven, but only enough for each day. If they took too much, just take a little extra, just in case it doesn't come tomorrow. The next day, it'll be infested with maggots. God's people, the Israelites, kept complaining about things all the time, but God always provided for their every need. See that rock? Hit it with your staff. Okay then. Water! Isn't that amazing? The people were hungry and God literally made food come down from the sky for them. Do you know, I thought that had happened to me once. I spotted an apple on the ground outside my house. Turned out it had been there for a few days and had maggots in it, so I only ate half of it. That's disgusting. Ugh. It was actually a real lesson for the Israelites about trusting God. You see, at first they didn't trust him at all. Even though they had literally just walked through the Red Sea, they were worried that they wouldn't have any food to eat. They started to think about all the food that they used to eat when they were being treated horribly as slaves. I mean, it's mad. They were being forced into heavy work and being whipped before. Now they're free and all they can think about is a ham sandwich. So God provided food from heaven, but he gave them some instructions on what to do. They should only take enough for each day so that they could keep trusting God that he would provide it for them every single day. Some people took more food than they needed, and you know what? Their food ended up like my apple, full of maggots. Yeah, pretty gross. Hopefully they learned pretty soon after that to only pick up enough for each day. And you know what? God provided this food for them for 40 years. But still, the people struggled to trust God sometimes. And we can be the same, can't we? Well, I would definitely trust Jesus if he gave me food for 40 years. Well, how old are you, Alan? I'm 42. Have you always had food to eat? Oh, yes, plenty. Well, then Jesus has provided you with food for over 40 years. Well, yeah, I suppose you're right. God gives us a bit of a challenge to test our trust in him, and it's all about money. He tells us to give away a little bit of the money that we have to him. But you know, I don't have much money. I wouldn't be able to give away any. Well, that's where the trusting in God part comes in. When I was 21 years old, I did a placement year as part of my university course. Now, I wasn't going to get paid for my placement. I would be working full-time and I would only be getting a third of my student loan. Basically, I did some maths, worked out how much money I needed to pay for my house and for my food for the year, and it didn't add up. I was going to be £4,000 short of what I needed. That's a lot of money. Well, what did you do? God spoke to me through a little thought like we get in Chat and Catch. A little nagging thought in my head. He said, I want you to give some of your money to me. And so I thought about it for a bit, and I said to God something along the lines of, are you stupid? I've done the maths and it already doesn't add up. I need to be saving money, not giving it away. That's never gonna work. But God said, give some of your money to me. So because I trusted God, I very reluctantly agreed. I decided to give a very, very small amount of money, just £13 a month away. And I gave it to the church to trust them to spend it on stuff that God wanted to use it for. Right, so what was it like being homeless? Well, that's the amazing thing. I didn't become homeless because I showed God that I trusted him with my money. He provided for my every need. So when it got to the end of the month and money was really low, I didn't have enough in my bank account to pay my rent, and I needed to pay my rent, I sort of heard the noise of the door going. And I went out to the door and I saw that through the door had come an envelope. And I opened the envelope up, and in the envelope was the exact amount of money that I needed to pay my rent. Then when I next needed to go shopping for food, but I didn't have enough money, someone gave me 2 bags full of Chinese food just the day before, which I happily then ate for the next 2 weeks. Every time I needed food or money, God provided it for me. That's awesome. You'll never need to buy anything again. You don't need to work a day in your life. Yeah, you might think that, but actually, I did quite the opposite. When I got a job a couple of years later, I really wanted to be able to do what other people had done for me, to be generous and to ask God where to give the money that I had away to be able to help other people. So there have been times when I felt God asking me to put money through someone's door, and times where I've given away food as well. And you know, it always feels pretty difficult. But the more I do it, the more I trust that God will provide for me. And it's also exciting to know that he can use me to help provide what other people need, just like other people did for me in that year where I really needed money. Well, that's fine for us, you and me, Michael, but surely the kids don't need to give any money away. They don't really have any, do they? Well, good question. I wonder, Coastline kids, those of you that are watching this video right now, who gets some pocket money? Yeah? I used to get 70p pocket money when I was younger, and my parents would encourage me to give 10% away. Now, if you haven't done percentages yet at school, you probably haven't. It's pretty hard to work it out, right? But I've got a little hack for you, so how you can work out 10%. You just take the final 0 off. So if you've got 70p, you take the 0 off, that gives you 7. So 10% would be 7p, which isn't too much. If you get £2, that's a bit harder because there's no 0 there. You've got to change it into pennies. How many pounds is £2 in pennies? It's 200 pennies, right? 200 pennies. So that's your number. You take the last 0 off, gives you 20. So 10% of £2 is 20p, and that's the amount that you could give away. But what use is 7p going to be to anyone? Well, imagine if all of us Coastline kids gave just 7p every week. That would give us about £3.50 every week if there's 50 Coastline kids, which there's more than that. And if we did that for a whole year, I've been doing my maths, you can tell, that would add up to £182 over the year. Imagine who we could help with £182. Yeah, true. Trouble is though, I don't really want to give away my money. I'd rather sort of spend it on sweets. Yeah, you know, it's really easy to feel like that. But remember, it's God who gives us everything in the first place. It's not really our money, it's his. We're just giving it back to him. Let me pray for us. Let's all close our eyes together. Jesus, help us to be generous with what we have. Help me to want to give some money away to people who really need it. Amen. Amen. Time for a pie, Alan.
No, please.
More. And stop there.
3, 2, 1.
See you next Wednesday. Don't forget to click like and subscribe if you'd like to see more pies.
Bye-bye.